Hey everybody, welcome to the Sharp Tongue Podcast. Happy Halloween, my favorite holiday. Is there a better holiday? I don't think there is. It's a holiday where you can really embrace your inner child, and that's really what we're talking about in today's episode, embracing your inner child. And my inner child is screaming with the news that I have for you. I'm going to tell you at the end of the podcast. There's already been so many big news stories for you guys, so many reveals. I don't know if you can handle another one, but brace yourselves because it's pretty big. And speaking of more big news, I'll give you a little bit of what's happening with this podcast. As I've said so many times, Sharp Tongue's going nowhere. It's sticking around, and the traditional Sharp Tongue episodes will be available on my Patreon page. I have been brewing in the background, evolving this podcast into a more focused conversation, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to have guests back on. If you listened to last week, John Stamos will be my first guest for the technically new podcast. You don't have to do anything. It's going to be in your ear. You're barely going to notice a change. You're just going to hear me conversating with new friends, old friends about a more focused conversation. I'm going to ask them all sorts of questions. I'm going to dig into their life and their history and how they've dealt with grief and how they've overcome that and experienced joy through extreme loss. It'll feel like Sharp Tongue, but a little bit more of an adult conversation. We'll still be silly. And I don't think you're going to notice a change. I actually think you're going to like it even more. So I appreciate you guys supporting me, sticking through, enjoying the podcast, sharing the podcast. Please do that. Continue to do that. And if you enjoyed this video, hit thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page. And if you want to be a part of the podcast, you can do that by calling us at 513-916-0930. Leave me a voicemail. Send me a text to be read or played on the podcast. You can ask me a question. Maybe I can offer you some advice. You know, I never take my own advice, but I'm going to give it to you. Don't forget to rate the podcast 5 stars. Give us 5 stars. Subscribe to the Patreon page. That's where the classic Sharp Tongue podcast will be available. I will be recording those as I go on this new podcast, which will be called Dying Laughing with Jessimae. Again, you'll still get it. It'll be on the same RSS feed. It'll feel like Sharp Tongue. It'll just have a new name, and I appreciate you guys sticking around. I think you're going to really enjoy it. And I'm going to have a bunch of my favorite people on, doctors, authors, comedians. So we're going to get back into having a conversation with really fun guests, as well as some solo episodes with myself. So thank you guys so much ahead of time for that. So that's one of the big news reveals for today. One of the big, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I can't believe it. You know, you work on these things and it takes a while for things to come to fruition. I almost gave you the other news. I almost revealed it. That's at the end of the episode. But I also want to tell you guys about something crazy that happened. I was in Los Angeles getting, first of all, Gabagool. If you can watch, if you're watching the episode, I'm wearing a Gabagool t-shirt. It's got a little ghost on it, and I'm Italian. This is a gift actually from Tully, from the Deuce, R.I.P., especially because this is a Halloween episode about embracing your inner child. R.I.P. to the Deuce, the podcast that I used to do with Tully. And I kept the shirt because you know how much fun is this? So I was in Los Angeles. I digress. I'm distracted by my t-shirt, but I wanted to let you know, a girl dressed up for Halloween. Here I am. I was in Los Angeles shopping at TJ Maxx. I went in for a specific thing. You got to be specific. If you're going to go shopping at a store like that, it's very difficult. You can get lost in the sauce. If you have no direction, girl, reel it in. What are we going for? Grandma, mom, you? Is it a holiday? Did someone die? Is someone being born? You need to have a purpose. Intention is everything in life. So I went into TJ Maxx with an intention. I wanted to get some new travel shoes. I also wanted to I'm always in the market for sweatpants. There's been a sweatpants shortage since 2020. I don't know if anyone's recognized this, but go to your TJ Maxx racks. There's a sweatpants shortage. And I usually shop for sweatpants in the male department and the boys department because I like the way they fit better. They have more fun pockets. I don't know what this new thing is where they're taking pockets away from ladies. We like pockets. We keep accessories on us more than men. So I went in there. I wanted to get some new sneaks. I also was in the market for, what other stuff did I get? I wanted black things, black clothing, classic. It's always in style. You can dress it up. You can dress it down. You can look goth. You can look like you're the roadie for somebody in a famous band. I had to get some black. I got some sneakers. I'm standing outside of TJ Maxx after being really pumped up about my new Reeboks. That's what I got. I got some new Reeboks, you guys. I'm here just flossing and glossing on the outside of TJ Maxx when I look over to my right and someone's being robbed. Just a man being robbed by another gentleman, a teenager. yanking his bag. And the guy's like, wait a minute. And this kid's yanking his bag. And then another man jumped in to help. I didn't do anything because what am I going to do? I'm not risking my life for that guy's TJ Maxx purchase. First of all, I don't know what he got. He didn't look like he came in intentionally. I'm not saying he deserved being robbed. No one deserves being robbed. But I'm not threatening my life for whatever socks and electronic accessories that you just purchased. I need to see your receipt before I jump in to help with theft. I think that's fair. So this guy's yanking the bag. The other guy's helping, and I hear them be like, drop the bag, let go of the bag. This kid takes off, grabs this guy's 2 bags, and just runs off into the parking lot. And this goes on all the time in Los Angeles and around the country, let's be real, around the world. But in Los Angeles, these bigger cities, these metropolis, you're going to come across that more often. I have never seen it with my own 2 eyes. And I've worked in retail. I also realize how useless I am in that scenario. I just stood there. I didn't even help. I felt horrible. But again, show me the receipt. I need to see what I'm helping for. How do I know that I won't feel bad? Maybe this kid needed whatever you had more. Well, you should get a job. Robber. I felt so bad for this guy. But my Uber pulled up. I also was nervous because here I am with really good stuff from TJ Maxx. Reeboks are hot, never out of style. I get in my Uber. I go, sir, I was just robbed. I wasn't, but I'm dramatic. He goes, what? I go, well, not me, but the guy next to me. I felt emotionally, it felt like it was me because it was so close. Basically, by proximity, I was robbed. And he was like, wow. And so we're kind of processing, driving out of the parking lot. And then we see the most ginormous fake booty I've ever seen in my life. This woman was cleaning stuff out of her trunk, ironically. And then we almost crashed because of her booty trunk. She was in her trunk, and then her booty trunk, we had to swerve around it. It took up so much space in the parking lot. And it was just quiet in my Uber. And I go, sir, I know that you did not see that booty. I confused him with the double negative. He goes, what? I go, sir, I know you saw what I saw. And he says, what are you talking about? And I go, you know what I'm talking about. He says, I'm not quite sure what you're saying. And I said, sir, I think you know exactly what I'm saying. That badunk in front of the trunk almost caused us to be in a high-speed chase. And we almost crashed into the freaking Ross for loss. Imagine that. We go crashing through the dang doors because of this woman's badunk. I don't even know if that's admissible in court or not. It should be. If you buy a booty that's so big it causes a traffic accident, that's on you. Him and I almost died at the hands of this woman's big old BBL. Like, it wasn't even a lift as much as it was an expansion. Here's my thing, girl. Do whatever you want to do to your body. It's your body. It's your lifetime. It's not going to bother me. As long as my taxes aren't going to pay for something that's accessory and something that is, how do they call it? Like a cosmetic accessory, which basically is what a BBL is. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. But if you almost caused me to die, I'm going to sue you. Okay? It doesn't make sense to me. If this woman's probably like one of those women in Los Angeles who are gluten-free, but they put stuff in their glutes. Okay, this isn't a conundrum whatsoever. Like, you won't eat refined sugar, but you're okay for the healing process of standing up and pooping for 6 weeks in order to heal for the BBL. Eat the gluten. You eat the cake. Eventually, you eat enough cake, you're going to grow cake. And you won't need to buy the cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, do it the hard way. Earn those calories. Earn and burn is what I say. Anything you want in life, you got to earn and burn it. So I was almost robbed and I almost died on my way out of TJ Maxx. I made it. Had a great time. Wore my new fresh Reeboks at the airport. A girl in front of me at the security line had the same exact Reeboks on. And I go, girl, I know where you were shopping in the past couple days because these bad boys are for sure selling out. There's certain things in TJ Maxx you just know is not going to stay on the shelf. I says, excuse me, miss, were you just in Reeboks? In TJ Maxx snatching these Reeboks? She was like, yes, I did. And then she goes, wait a minute, are you a comedian? I said, yes, I am. I was almost robbed in a drive-by bootying. I almost got drive-by badunked. She said, I don't know what you're saying. And I said, that's fair. Neither did my Uber driver. but I'm here. I survived. Shout out to the fan who said hello to me and the security after I pounced on them because we had the same sneakers. I like to connect with people. It's just who I am. I like to be in the moment. I like to connect. It lifts my mood. And speaking of lifting my mood, here's some other news before we get into a couple absolutely nots and embracing our inner child. I sometimes luck out in life, and I feel very lucky right now because I have a new partner in life. A new partner, somebody who is standing by me and is joining me on my journey of choosing to be more in the moment, my journey of wanting to be more present, of embracing my inner child truly. And that is me feeling free with Feel Free. This is my new sponsor. We have decided to get together and collaborate. They're going to be helping me with my tour, podcast, live appearances, all sorts of fun things. We're going to combine efforts and make some fun content together. And I'm so excited. It has been a long time in the making. So many big news reveals today. And I feel like the luckiest girl in the world. I feel like, sometimes you put your head down and you do a lot of stuff and then things come to fruition. I'm so excited about Feel Free, especially because I gave up coffee. It was probably the dumbest decision I've ever made in my life. And then I realized, what am I going to do? Well, is there any more things I can do to have some fun in my life? And that's where Feel Free and I have become dear, dear friends. I found it a couple years ago, and then it's popped up in different green rooms throughout the years for me when I'm doing stand-up. And I love, you guys know me, I'm a hippie at heart. I love trying new things. I love plant-based items. I use as many as I can. And so Feel Free is a plant-based tonic that I have incorporated into situations where I need to feel like I can be the greatest aunt in the world. It helps me just, get a little mood lift, and I can get down and play with my niece and nephew and not feel like a crazy person. Sometimes you're in a room with kids and you're like, wow, I don't even know if I speak child. That's a whole other language. That's a whole other language to speak. I realize kids, even though sometimes they can be really dumb, they're also super intelligent and they make you feel dumb. It's a conundrum. And you're like, I don't know math. You ever hang around kids? You don't know math. You think you know math? Hang around children. You think you know history or just facts about platypus? You don't know nothing. You got to start hanging around kids. They've got all this stuff ready to go. And kids actually are a lot of fun as long as you can give them back. But I'm here every year this time going to different Halloween events, trick-or-treating. I'm going to go trick-or-treating. I'm going to go as kind of like a backwoods vampire. Maybe one from True Blood. You guys remember that show, True Blood? I loved True Blood. Oh my gosh. The vampire sex was hot in True Blood. Let's just be real. It was made you want to be a vampire. How come nobody makes love like a vampire? What are we doing? Nobody's making love like a vampire. So I'm here hanging out with my niece and nephew. I'm going to go to a Halloween party tonight. Actually, I think it's starting at the house. That's going to be terrifying. I'm going to have a couple sips of my Feel Free, and I'm going to feel free around these kids. I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. And I'm going to go as a cute little vampire, and we'll see how that turns out. I babysat once years ago when I was in my teens, and the children attacked me, all four of them. I had 4 kids. It was just me and 4 children, and the kids attacked me so bad I had to call the parents to come home. I called my mom crying. I go, I think I'm going to die. I realize I'm very dramatic. I thought I was going to die by the hands of these 4 kids. That'd be a great horror movie, children that end up just attacking their babysitter. I'm sure it's out there. And my mom had to come save me because these children nearly murdered me. And I think they wanted to. I think in their heart they had hatred for me for some reason. And it was a terrifying situation. I want to do a couple absolutely nots. Speaking of terrifying situations, I've had a couple of these stories come in and I felt like I needed to talk to you guys about it. First of all, did anyone see the Dwayne Wade statue? I'm not a big sports person, but these statues that people make are ridiculous. It's beyond offensive. It's like somebody's got to stop allowing their nephews to play with the idea that they're actual artists. These statues are terrifying. Dwayne Wade's statue, he looks like an angry old, like a curmudgeon man on a porch. Looks nothing like Dwayne Wade. We got to go back to tearing statues down. We got to go back to iconoclasm. Okay. There's a connection between that and embracing our inner child. When you're a kid, you're rambunctious. You're tearing everything down as a kid. That's your whole energy. You're tearing people down. You're tearing down the house. We have to go back to tearing statues down. Maybe we need to employ a few children just to go tear down these horrifically scary statues and then put a sign up in front of Dwayne Wade's that says General Lee, because this looks nothing like Dwayne Wade. And if I were him, I would be pissed. What blind bat put this together? Was this person blind? Are we being inclusive? We got to call the lady from the Lionel Richie video to put this together, because that looked like Lionel a little bit more than this looks like Dwayne Wade. And then we've got Cristian Ronaldo. Have no idea who he is. I know he's a sports guy. His looks like someone took all the features in his face and smushed them towards the middle. And then his face, the rest of his face got bit by bees. And these people are just happy. It's got to be an exciting moment to have a reveal of a statue of yourself, throughout history, Greek history and Italian history, way back to the Incans and Mayans and Egyptians. Statues have been erected. It's a way to worship your gods, worship your idols. Imagine revealing that. Cristian Ronaldo's like that. There's so much more room on my face for my face. Why did we smush it to the middle? Imagine your whole life as a kid, you dream about this, and then Andy Murray, which I'm guessing is a tennis star because his statue has a tennis racket in his hand, but he's also dressed like a warrior from Middle Earth. Looks nothing like him. Looks like Andrew Washington drowned and then also got bit by bees. Andrew Jackson. That's what Andy Murray's statue looks like. Looks like a pissed off Andrew Jackson because he has a bad bee allergy and he was stung horrifically. We've got Mohamed Salah. I think he's a soccer star. I know a couple of these guys. His statue looks like that filter we use on Instagram where you're floating through the sky going upward. This looks like Eric Andre and Benjamin Button had a baby. There's nothing good about this. And I don't care if these artists who created them feel bad. There's got to be nepotism in this whole process because this is done by someone this is the first statue they've ever made. Clearly, there's no way this person has spent hours in the studio. We're better off with a girl from the Lionel Richie video. I will say it again. The only one whose statue is kind of somewhat okay is David Beckham's. It's huge. Also, do we need to make his package that big? I don't know that we need the private parts of a statue detailed. That's why they put the fig leaf up. I get it. I don't want to see the dong. Do we need to see a dong in Central Park? It's just a bulge. It's a little bit more than a Ken doll bulge. A little too much. We get it. We know David Beckham has a package. Okay. He's a little hippie in this. A little, a lot of thigh, very thigh forward, teeny ankles. I'm not sure that any of this is proportioned properly. So he's the only one who can even maybe not be completely pissed off, but the rest of them should be terrified. So to these statue artists, I say absolutely not. I don't know what you were trying to do. It was not accomplished. It's a scam. It's an absolute scam. Speaking of scams, we have a couple of scams. A skull was found in a wall. It can't get scarier than that. I wanted to find some Halloween scary stories for you guys after bragging about all my fun things I'm embarking on. I don't mean to be braggadocious. I'm just genuinely excited about the things I'm working on. So feel free to make fun of me in my endeavors. I'm opening the floor for you to make fun of all of my enthusiasm for myself. I don't care. Skull found during home renovations in 1978, identified as a woman who died more than 150 years prior to that. And you're probably wondering, 1978, why is this just news? Well, I guess DNA testing and technology has improved so much that they're able to actually identify where this woman was born, when she was from, what era she was from. The skull of a teen from the 1800s was found more than 45 years ago in a home renovation project in suburban Chicago. Thanks to the advancement of DNA technology, we finally know her name. Esther Granger. Is there a creepier name than Esther Granger? That sounds like a ghost waiting to haunt. That sounds like she was waiting for her skull to be unearthed. Even though it was in a house, I'm still calling it unearthed because this is basically what's happening. Esther Granger was identified by the Kane County Coroner's Office on Thursday as a woman whose skull was found in 1978, but she died more than 150 years earlier. This was just published a couple days ago, this article. She was born in October 1848 in Indiana and was only 17 at the time of her death in 1866 when officials believe she died due to complications during childbirth. At 17? I mean, that sounds sus. That sounds real sus. Sounds like somebody just filled something in. Somebody did something horrible to this girl. 17 years old. They think she died because of complications in childbirth. Was she giving birth? Sometimes I read things and I don't think it all the way through. Let's see. Her body was buried in Maryville, Indiana, but years later, her skull was found in a home 80 miles northwest of Batavia. Yes, she gave birth to somebody's baby that was not supposed to be his baby. And we don't get political, but okay. We know what's important in this situation. We know it's very important in this situation. Oh, what's your option? Well, you drive to another state and hope that you can get an abortion, or your head ends up in a wall in suburban Chicago. Oh, I'll take option A, Alec, for $1,000. Officials did what they could with DNA testing at the time, but all they were able to learn was the skull belonged to a young woman in her 20s. So this was in 1978. The case grew cold. The skull was stored in the Batavia Depot Museum, and employees stumbled upon it again in March 2021 while cleaning. The skull was turned back into the police. Thanks to those people, you would think most people would keep the skull, put it in their house as some sort of bookend. People are creepy, but these people actually turned it in. I'm impressed. Advancements in forensic science technology and the use of forensic investigative genetic genealogy, which combines DNA analysis with traditional genealogy research, have allowed more breakthroughs in DNA evidence collection. In 2023, Kane County officials contacted Othram, a Texas company that works in solving cold cases across the country, to assist with DNA testing. So this guy said he couldn't believe the news when he first was contacted by officials because they found out that there was a DNA match. She has a great-grandson, Wayne Svilar, has submitted his DNA for testing, and it was a match. He says he cannot believe the news when he was first contacted by the officials in April, but he said, to be completely honest, we didn't believe a word of it. It took 2 or 3 phone calls to believe it. I mean, what do they say? It's all about how you deliver this news. Hey, bud, we found a skull on a wall and it was your grandma. Huh? I'd hang up too. You guys know I do Scam America on this. I get scammed all the time. If somebody told me that, I would give them my social security number and my bank account right then and there. Oh my God, my grandma's skull is in a wall. Meanwhile, I know where both of my grandmas are buried, fully intact. At least I think. Who knows? People could do stuff. They're switching a roux all the time. We don't really know what's going down behind closed doors in a morgue. Those people don't get a little freaky deaky. You mean to tell me people don't show up with bags of cash asking them to switch heads? Come on now. Snip a finger. Got to figure this case out. I need to solve this case. Help me. People do all sorts of things for money, so you can't trust anybody. But I'd be questioned. This guy was smart. I'm not answering the phone. Me, my grandma's skull was in a wall. Okay, here's all my money. What do you need from me? Take a kidney. Can we resuscitate her? What do we do? I don't know what we do here. He says he was a retired police sergeant, which is wild, in Portland, Oregon, and he said there was a sense of shock and closure about the family with the identification news. He says he's been retired for a while, but after being involved in the identification process, he recently has taken a job in the county district's office working with cold cases. See, this is what I always talk about, that this is kind of traumatic, probably shocking news for him, but he turned it into something good. It ignited something in him. And I would imagine somewhere as a kid, he liked figuring things out. Somewhere as a kid, he had a knack for solving crimes and was good with clues and sort of summarizing and was able to look through all of the data and come to a conclusion. And here's this guy who was retired and because of this news found new energy around what he used to do. I think that's amazing. Cold cases are going to be something that's always around. These police officers and detectives are forced and probably feel pressure to solve a case. And then when there's no hope, they just end up tossing it aside. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's hope that no more remains are found in walls, because that's just freaky. You know, I remember working in a bar in New York. I was at this bar, Soho Room, was it? I can't remember. I think it was just called The Bar. This corner of Spring and Sullivan across from Blue Ribbon. And they were doing renovations in the apartment above the bar. And this guy found cash inside the wall. A lot different than a skull. So much different. But fun, you know. There also was a story in Syracuse at the Landmark Theater where the cleaners, I think at night, one of the managers of the theater and I were talking about this, actually around this time a couple years ago. He said a man had broken in, climbed inside of a wall, got stuck in the wall, and then when cleaners were there late at night, they heard the wall making noise. And they had to break through the wall. This guy caused thousands of dollars in damage because they had to try and get him out. Because he was in there. He was trying to get free tickets. He didn't want to pay the tickets. He didn't want to pay the cost to go see the show. I'm sorry. Michael Bolton's not that good. I don't even know who he was going to see. I should have asked Michael. I'll ask him and get the deets and tell you guys after. You know I love a good follow-up. Absolutely not to the skull in the wall. Absolutely not to the guy who's trying to get cheap tickets. Pay the full price, okay? Before you get walled in. Let's see what else we got here. Scam America. I got scammed again, you guys. And I don't know why these people try me. They try me all the time. Quit trying me. Now I'm getting hip to the game. You know, these snake oil emails. I had to look up snake oil. They actually sold snake oil in the 1800s. Maybe Esther Granger bought some snake oil, and that's what actually ended up getting her dead. What do the kids say now? Unalived? Jesus. Snake oil came from the Chinese water snakes, and Chinese laborers and those who immigrated to the U.S., they shared it with their workers, and it helped build the Transcontinental Railroad because apparently it actually had effective anti-inflammatory properties. Real snake oil. And then, of course, people ended up selling fake snake oil, and that's where the term snake oil salesman comes from. I thought that was interesting. Well, this snake oil came in the form of an email from Kevin Bacon, who's in a great horror movie called Stir of Echoes. Old school movie, but still pretty good. Holds up. Hello, Jessimae. I'm writing you to invite you to participate in our upcoming online podcast. First of all, an online podcast? What does that even mean? Hosted by the renewed artist and host Kevin Bacon. I didn't know that Kevin Bacon needed to be renewed. Have you seen Tremors? Anybody who's in that movie, in my heart, doesn't need a revival or a renewal. They're famous forever. The podcast will explore life changes, triumphs, passions, success stories, entrepreneurship, and social issues. Your insights will be a valuable addition to our discussion. The podcast will be broadcast live on participants' Facebook pages, providing a broad platform for meaningful dialogue. We're offering a compensation of $3,000 for 40 minutes. Try $300,000, honey. I know what Kevin Bacon's got. Actually, him and what was her name? Carrie. What's his wife's name? Kevin Bacon. And she's got her own freaking career. I don't call her Kevin Bacon's wife. I call her, I got to Google Kevin Bacon's wife because I have no idea. Kevin Bacon's wife, Carrie something, Kira Sedgwick. I was close. She's got her own thing going on. And I know those two, they got screwed. I think they got screwed from Bernie Madoff. So they might not have a lot of dollars, but I'm still going to, look, someone's scamming you to scam me. I'm going to scam you back. I'm only going on the podcast for $300,000, Mr. Kevin Bacon. Confirm or deny. Keep it or leave it. Take it or leave it. Okay? I am here offering you sharks an opportunity to have me on your podcast for $300,000. Take it or leave it, buddies. Because let me tell you, the conversations I'll have are well worth that money. You're cutting into my time. I do feel that during this time of year, it's my favorite, and it makes me the most reminiscent. It makes me the most nostalgic. Halloween is like the ultimate kids holiday. Because as an adult, you celebrate it. It's fun, especially if you have children. But it's really for kids to dress up and have fun and explore their creativity. Get out there, scare. You know, kids always love to jump out and scare you all year long. Now they can actually do it, and it's festive. You go get candy. It's a great diabetic day for all involved. Don't think I'm not going to be shaking down my sister's neighbors for Kit Kats and anything chocolate. Right now, I'm insatiable for chocolate. There's nothing that can stop me from getting chocolate, especially because I don't drink coffee. It's not a political stance I'm taking against caffeine, against coffee. I just stopped it. But now I have to replace it. That's how I do things. If I take one thing away, I need something else. I'm a human being. I'm a red-blooded, hot-blooded Sicilian American. I need to replace it with something. And so it's going to be chocolate. I'm going to have my Feel Free with me to help me ease into all of the social conversations. I'm probably going to be the belle of the ball, to be honest with you. I'm over dramatizing everything. You guys do that thing where you make everything worse in your head than it actually is in life. But for me, Halloween is a great time of year. It makes me excited. I get into it even as an adult. And this year it's fun. A lot of people are dressing up their dogs. I Googled the 10 most popular dog costumes. So let's see, 15. One is Target. I believe the Target dog, which Spuds McKenzie, was that his name? I could be wrong. Those dogs are cool looking. Those dogs with the snouts. They look like some sort of shark had a romance with a dog. And then they had a land shark. That's what the Target dog looks like me. It looks like to me. The Minion, that's adorable. That's number 14. Batman, a firefighter, a donkey. Zero, I have no, is that the letter? I don't know. I'm not hip. I don't know what zero is. Sherlock Holmes is cute. A hippo. Dame Dong, Ding Dang. What's that famous hippo's name? Mung Dang? Mung Bang? Mung Bang? Mukbang? I don't know his name. A sandworm. That's adorable from Beetlejuice. Wolverine. Beetlejuice is one. A basketball. Kind of lazy. Hot dog. Little lazy. A little bit too much on the nose for me. A stegosaurus. Why does everybody dress up their dog like a stegosaurus? And number 1 is dog pool. I'm surprised. When I think of a dog costume and the greatest dog costume ever, I think of that spider. You guys know that spider? It's so, remember that video that the dog in the spider costume that terrified everybody? I thought that was so funny. The dog running around and the person at night, and they got genuinely terrified of the critter. So funny to me. Anyways, I also found these celebrities who dressed up their dogs, and I thought it was really cute. There's someone who, I don't know who this girl is. She's gorgeous, but she dressed her dog up as the Child's Play, Chucky. Adorable. It's like a French bulldog. He dressed him up as a good guy. It's so freaking cute. And then we got Justin Biebs. We're all here supporting Justin Biebs. We know he's been through a lot. Whew. But he's got his cute little doggy here in a Supergirl costume. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. It looks like a girl to me. She's in a Supergirl costume. My girl Whitney Cummings has her 2 pups. I feel like this is an older photo of the dogs, though. I feel like she did this a couple years ago where she put lion's mane on them. Oh, and then we've got Jenny McCarthy, who I love. Shout out to Jenny McCarthy. She's got her cute little, looks like a Boston Terrier in a fully loaded hot dog costume. See, this is a different hot dog to me because this dog's got all the fixings on top. When it's just ketchup, I'm like, what a lazy hot dog. I want the relish. I want the mustard. It looks like there's some chili on there, some cheese. Like, this dog is fully loaded. And then I don't know who this kid is. He looks like the founder of a startup. He's got his adorable dog in a relatively okay hot dog costume. I mean, his dog's adorable. You could dress his dog in blood and I still would hug it. And then look, there's my Carlin. My Carlin was dressed as a hot dog. Actually, this day, I want to say almost 10 years ago, because a couple days before Halloween, my dog died in my arms. Ruh-roh. Debbie Downer. Downer alert. Everybody move back. Sad story. It actually was a pretty magical story. My dog died in my arms a couple days before Halloween. A lot has happened around this time of year for me. So Halloween's so important. And I try to anchor myself to my inner child and experience joy and stay in that mindset and stay in that joyful place. And my dog died in my arms. It was beautiful. He died in my arms on drugs in the desert like a rock star. And I dressed Carlin up as a hot dog to make me get through the sadness. And it made me feel better. And Carlin was sad. I experienced the sadness. And I felt really great that I was able to hang on to my dog in that moment. I didn't want to bring him to the vet. There was nothing they could do. He had been sick for a really long time. And so he died in my arms. I have not felt his ghost around me. I wonder if dogs turn into ghosts. How would you know? Would it be a bark or a fart? Like, has anybody ever really experienced that? Please email me, JessimaePelusoComedy@gmail.com. If you really think your dog's ghost haunted you, tell me a story. I'm interested in it. And then there's a celebrity here, Lucy Hale, who dressed up the same as her dogs. And I thought, this is adorable. This is so cute. She looks like she has a couple Bichon mixes or something, like poodle mixes. I love that she put herself in the costume. And that brings me into my next big news. I'm in a movie. I played a very small part in this movie that's called F, Marry, Kill. It's going to come out in December. I think it's December 5th, I believe. I probably have it wrong. Debbie will pop it up on the screen. I don't even know when it comes out. I'm so excited. I'm just focused on the fact that it comes out. The trailer is out. It's actually really great looking movie. It's from Lionsgate. Really funny cast. Directed by Laura Murphy, who directed Girl Code. So it's an amazing director, really fun cast. I play a podcast host alongside with my friend John Gabris. We are the podcast hosts of a murder documentary podcast called Mark My Murder, where we cover murders. You can hear my voice in the trailer. And it just felt super special to me because we're talking about like embracing your inner child and how do you connect to that? You know, how do you connect to that emotion? And for me, this time of year connects me to it. Like I said, about being around children and how free-spirited they are and how much they really are in the moment. They don't dwell in the past unless it favors them. They're not stressed about the future unless it's something that's super exciting they're looking forward to. They're so rooted in the moment and there's real power in that. And it's so freaking inspiring. I realize I'm saying all this as an aunt and it's easier because I get to give the kids back. It's not lost on me. Okay, you gabagools. I know it is hard to be a parent and keep up and maintain that enthusiasm. Hello, feel free. A little full-on supported product endorsement. It's a great way to sort of be in those moments and be open and keep yourself sort of curious and open like children are. They're just so rooted in that and they really embrace spontaneity. And so that's why I enjoy this time of year. And being in a movie around Halloween and in a horror movie is special to me because my dad and we loved horror movies. That was the way we bonded. That's also why this holiday is so important to me and why it's a part of my soul and a part of who I am. My dad and we both would go to every horror movie. I just posted a video about it. We would go and see every movie in the theater, even if it was bad. I think one of the first movies I remember seeing with him was called Bad Moon. And it was a werewolf movie. And the first scene is them banging, having sex in a tent. My dad, he's just like, oh, geez, oh, God, what the heck? He's all uncomfortable. And I'm there with my friend Amy, and we're like, oh, God, this is the worst. My dad's right next to me, and there's like aggressive sex happening inside of a tent, and then they get murdered by a werewolf. My dad was mortified. But we have so many great movies and memories surrounding horror movies. And to be in one, to have my voice be in the trailer is so exciting to me. I don't know if you can hear the kids. They just got home. It's so exciting to me. It makes me feel a little bittersweet because my dad's not here. But you guys get to watch it and you can watch it for him. I can watch it through him and experience it and still feel so proud. I know, obviously, I wish he was here to be able to watch the movie and I know he would love it. The movie looks so good. It really does. I can't wait to see it. And yeah, I'm pumped. I'm so excited. It really feels surreal for me right now. Stamos is going to be on my podcast. I'm in a horror movie. I'm embarking on this fun collaboration with something I really feel and enjoy and feel that has helped me and has added to my life. I like that it's a part of my healthcare regimen for myself, my wellness, if you will. And I feel really excited about the future. I feel like when people say that, they end up in a plane crash. Oh my God. Can you guys imagine I die on the way to my shows in Raleigh, North Carolina this weekend? That's right. tomorrow and Saturday, I'll be at the Raleigh Improv. Come laugh with me. Come embrace your inner child with me. Friday night, 2 shows, Saturday night, 2 shows, and my tour continues. I will be in a couple other places, Omaha, Nebraska, Las Vegas, Springfield, Massachusetts, Boston, Massachusetts, Syracuse, New York, JESSIMAE.com for tickets. But don't forget, you can always access your inner child. Always embrace that inner child. You can even be weird and build a fort, jump in a puddle, color in a book. You know how much fun it is to just hang out with your niece and nephew and color in a book and then give them back. You can play on a swing set. You can wear a cape if you're one of those. Some adults don't take their capes off, and those are special people. There's ice cream for dinner. That's always a great option. Not if you're lactose intolerant like me, but you work through it. You do whatever you can to sort of embrace that inner child. And for me, the way I've embraced it the most recently is following my dreams, believing in myself, even in moments I don't, surrounding myself with people who actually do and have ways to sort of compensate for my lack of confidence in that moment. It happens to the best of us. We all need a little shove and a little help and resources, and however you can find that for yourself is the most important thing you can do. But I think we all need to take a little time to carve out some moments for ourselves where we can stay curious and embrace spontaneity like children and really embrace being this joyful being that we can be, even through the hardest parts of your life. I know all of us struggle in different ways. I know a lot of you guys listening are working 2 jobs, or you're going through a breakup, or you're headed for a big life change. And I hope that this helps you feel special, makes maybe something special to look forward to in your life and gives you a little bit of a break. But just know that you can embrace that inner child. Do it however you can. Give yourself a little joy today, even if it's in the form of a Kit Kat, even if it's in the form of hanging out with children, something that makes me feel, you know, a little just nervous. I'm nervous because I don't know math. I don't know math as well as they do, and I'm going to look like an idiot. What's the square root of what? Why are you rude? Don't ask me math. I'm an ant. Ants don't answer math equations anymore. We've earned the right to be dumb at this part of our life. But I'm going to embrace my inner child. I'm going to relish in this moment. I'm in a horror movie. I'm about to talk to John Stamos. I'm partnered with a really cool company. I feel that I am headed for a plane crash. Please come see me live. I hope this podcast brought you joy. You guys bring me joy every week, and I hope you look forward to Dying Laughing with Jessimae. That'll be happening in November, but until then, Sharp Tongue as is, business as usual. You won't even notice a change. It'll actually be a little bit different than Sharp Tongue and a little bit better. So thank you guys so much for your continued listenership and support, and please share this with your friends who you think might enjoy it and your family members who need it. Maybe they need to hear something I said. Embrace your inner child. I hope you guys have a great week.